I am back at Wroxham fishing for perch on the River Bure. However, this time I have left the drop shot gear at home, I have left the jig heads at home, and I have left the lures at home too. This session goes against everything I set out to achieve this season because I'm fishing with actual bait rather than plastics. A fellow YouTuber, General Fisherman, suggested that I try a different method and suggested freelining worms. The rig suggested uses an SSG split shot, so it's not quite freelining, but it is very close. Besides, I need a little weight to get the worm out in the water. All season I have used a swivel on the leader, but another YouTuber, Mark Cox, recommended not using a swivel and attaching the leader to the main line using a uni knot instead. Consequently, I have scrapped the swivel and tied the leader using the uni knot. It is a little on the gusty side today, so I thought I would try and find a bit of shelter, and the rail bridge is the ideal location. Had the weather been perfect, I wouldn't fish here and would be on the mooring facing the road bridge, but all things considered, this is the best swim. I have to admit that I have never freelined before, and the method is totally new to me. I have, of course, read about it, but I've never given it a try and always preferred other fishing methods instead. Even though I'm doing something different to my usual drop shotting and jigging, I'm using my normal gear, which if you've seen any of my LRF videos will know it comprises a witchwood agitator drop shot rod, a Shimano Hyperloop 1000 RB reel loaded with 12-pound braid. This is so I can fish light and enjoy battling with any perch I catch, regardless of its size. I'm not a fan of bullying fish to the net and actually find it quite boring. I did have my reservations using a single SSG shot and thought it would be too light to get the worm any further than the rod tip, especially given the breezy conditions. However, I need not have worried. The weight was more than enough to get the worm the required distance, but I was hampered by the rig. The leader is slightly too long, and as the leader knot is a little tight going through the top two rod eyes, I have to have a long drop to cast out, which obviously affects the casting distance. The rig length is something I'm going to have to sort out in the future. I didn't find this method of fishing easy, and I did struggle keeping the line tight whilst the worm was on the drop. I also struggled knowing when to strike and set the hook. My technique requires a lot of work and I have a lot to learn. As well as the freelining method itself, I found hooking the worms a challenge too. I tried several different ways of hooking the worm, including threading them on up the shank, nipping the hook through the head end, nipping the hook through the tail end, hooking the worm through both the head and tail, and also hooking the worm through the middle, leaving the two ends free to move. I have to admit that I'm not sure which way is best. For a first attempt at freelining, I don't think I did too bad a job. I fished the railway bridge for just under 3 hours, and over that time I caught 23 perch. I would estimate the largest around a pound, which isn't massive, but it is a start. It is also my PB perch, but given I was raised on commercial fisheries fishing for carp, bream and tench, any perch over 4 ounces would beat my PB. I would have fished for longer, but I ran out of bait. I naively thought 20 worms, from my new wormery, would be more than enough, but I got it totally wrong. I even cut the worms in multiple pieces to make them go further, but I still ran out. Freelining, whilst a challenge, was really good fun and I found it very addictive. Feeling the line trembling and waiting for the fish to take the bait properly really gets the adrenaline flowing. The 3 hours flew by, and freelining worms is something I'm definitely going to do more of in the future. I didn't manage to capture footage of every fish I caught, but I did manage to get the majority of them, and here they are.